Alright, class. So, for those of you that don't know, my name is Michael Smith, and I've been sick with a disease, so I've been in the hospital for the past few weeks, so that's why I wasn't able to make it on the day that our presentations were actually due. So, I'm just giving the teacher, Mr. Smith, a screenshot of what our group decided to do, but I'm just giving it a screenshot so that way I get my points counted for, and so that way I get a grade for this class and don't fall too far behind. So without further ado, I'll just jump right into it. So the Eurasian Steppe is what I'm going to be talking about today. And the Eurasian Steppe is, our group member's name. What is the Eurasian Steppe? Many of you might wonder, and I just questioned myself. Well, the Eurasian Steppe, according to Eurasia, is the vast ecoregion of Eurasia in the temperate grasslands, savannas, and shrublands biome. So, what does that really mean? It's just a very broad grassland that covers much of Europe and also parts of Asia. And I'll get along later and tell you just exactly what kind of grasslands and type of lands the biome covers and the expanse of it in just a second. So, where is Eurasia? Does anyone know? Okay, I'll tell you. Eurasia is a landmass that's located in sections of Europe, Central Asia, Southern Asia, China, and the Middle East. So it's pretty much the big chunk of land that's in Eastern Europe, and it covers also parts of Central Asia, Southern Asia, and then Eastern Asia, and then it also covers sections of the Middle East too. So I'm not talking about a small piece of land here, we're talking about a huge region. And so, I know it's a small map, but the region of the Eurasian Steppe is pretty much around this area. Right there. It's that huge expanse of land just right there. Right, so, just to give you all just a better example of how big the Eurasian Steppe is, I'll let you know. So the Eurasian Steppe extends from Hungary, which is in the west of Europe, and it extends all the way into Central Asia and Manchuria, which is in eastern China. So the expanse of land is roughly 5,000 miles, which is crazy huge for a little piece of land that's been used over the centuries for different means of transport. So, why is the Eurasian Steppe so important to us now? See this? This is silk. And guess what silk came from and made it popular? Yep, you guessed it. Ever heard of the Silk Road? Silk and the Silk Road itself, well, not silk. Silk being bought over different parts of Europe and China was due to and based on the possibility that the Silk Road provided for merchants and travelers. And we're going to watch this quick video about the Silk Road because I think it details the Silk Road the best and in the best means.
In the days of Kublai Khan, merchants traveled a dangerous road, carrying precious cargoes of jade, gunpowder, sandalwood, and silk. Ancient caravan trails crossed a mysterious country we now call China, a country with a stunning diversity of landscapes. Today, the worn roads pass through lost civilizations amid shifting sand dunes, wind-scarred rocks, or treacherous mountain passes. Powerful dynasties built the Great Wall to protect this road and the world's most ancient civilization against barbarian invaders from the north. The fragile link connecting Imperial China to the rest of the world was called the Great Silk Road. The wind and sand advance in a fickle rhythm of their own on the great dunes of Dunhuang. Modern travelers can ride on camelback across the vast expanses of sand, as did the caravans of antiquity. Sturdy Bactrian camels, domesticated over thousands of years, still serve as pack animals in the roadless areas of western China. These valuable beasts of burden can travel 30 miles per day, enduring extreme temperatures, carrying heavy loads of up to 1,000 pounds. Able to drink 25 gallons at a single session, they can subsist without water for several days. Camels' eyes are protected against wind and sand by long eyelashes, and they can voluntarily close their nostrils during sandstorms. The Silk Road of legend was actually a chain of caravan trails reaching north across the Gobi Desert, west across the Taklamakan Desert, then south to Iran or India, before heading to the eastern shores of the Mediterranean Sea. From Persia to China came pears, peaches, walnuts, indigo dyes, frankincense and myrrh. From Central Asia came lapis lazuli, jade, almonds, onions, and superb horses for the empire's armies. From India came the lotus, pepper, spinach, sandalwood, and most important, cotton, which came into China through the Turpan Oasis. From China came green ginger, millet, roses, camellias, mulberry trees, and precious silk. Fundamental ideas of art, science, and religion also traveled in both directions on this road, transforming east and west. The Chinese inventions of paper, gunpowder, and the compass made their way westward, while the religions of Buddhism and Islam, traveling east, took root and flourished in western China's oasis towns. Even though the caravan route was well established in the 13th century, traveling it was still a hazardous undertaking. Marco Polo wrote of his own desert crossing. Travelers who intend to cross the desert rest in this town for a week to refresh themselves and their beasts. They stock up with a month's provisions because the desert consists entirely of mountains of sand and valleys. There is nothing at all to eat. Groups of travelers make a point of sticking close together. Before they go to sleep, they put a sign pointing in the direction they plan to travel. Furthermore, they hang little bells around the necks of their animals, so that by listening to the sound, they can stop them from straying off the road. Luxury and privation traveled side by side on the ancient Silk Road. Luxuries were transported on camelback, and severe privations were endured by the caravan traders who undertook the dangerous journeys in hopes of huge potential profits. Along each leg of the road, the price of the merchandise rose every time the goods changed hands. The exorbitant cost of goods from this overland passage proved a powerful stimulus for finding alternate overseas routes.
Alright, so from that video we can see how important the Silk Road was to the people of the time, especially in the Middle Ages. How sugar, roses, jade, mulberry trees, and all the different resources were traded among traders and merchants and just the common people and wealthy rulers as well, such as the horses for the king's empire. We find out just how important the Eurasian steppe was because of the trade route that it provided for the different cultures that were able to intermingle their own ideals and beliefs, such as the Buddhism and Islam, which was able to move into the western sections of China, and as the video said, the religions were able to flourish because of that movement and because of the travel that the Silk Road provided, and also the gunpowder and paper making skills that the Chinese provided for pretty much everyone else around the world just because of the Silk Road opening up. So, but many historians question who lived and also what lived possibly in the Eurasian steppe before the Silk Road. Now, before the Silk Road was in existence, nomads lived and thrived on the Eurasian steppe. They moved eastward and westward in search of food, so wherever their food was, that's where they went. And it's interesting because even though we know nomads lived along the Eurasian steppe, we don't know that much about the nomadic people because they didn't write down any of their historical, agricultural, or celestial notes, so we don't really know that much about the nomadic people. And after being nomads for so long, one of the biggest reasons, well, obviously, they settled down. So one of the biggest reasons that the nomads may have settled is due to the domestication of wild horses. As we saw in the video, horses pretty much equaled power, especially for the king who used it in his army. Horses became the central animal in the southern lands, meaning the southern Asian land, and also the Middle East. And Mesopotamia is a great example of this because Mesopotamia pretty much shows historians the first domestication of horses, because the Mesopotamians have historic figurines and drawings that indicate horses or horse-like figures, which historians believe are horses pulling carts. And it's just an example of some horse-like material. This probably isn't from the Mesopotamian time, but I thought it was a great example of how cultures can incorporate horses or horse-like beings into their own artistic works. Alright. So do we have any questions for for me about the Eurasian steppe? Alright, well I guess I'll just have to answer them since I'm sick. So I will answer any of the questions that you all have in class as soon as I get back and get out of the hospital. So, without further ado, I'll leave you with my resources and my works cited, and have a great rest of the class day, folks.